that I had displayed a shocking lack of commitment to counterterrorism. And then the guy who had given me the advice saw that my name wasn't on the promotion list, and he promoted me out of cycle. So I realized then I was up against something that was going to be tough. And then there was a psychiatrist at the agency whom I had known for years. We are in the same men's group. We went to the same church. And he happens to be both a brigadier general in the Army and a CIA psychiatrist. And he said to me one day, "Buddy, you know they call you the human rights guy behind your back." And I said, "Yeah, I don't care." And he said, "You know that's not a compliment, right?" And I said, "Steve, they're wrong about this, and I'm right about it." I said, I'm comfortable with the decision that I made. And I just left it at that. I didn't realize, though, how much I had pissed them off until later on.
So all you had done essentially was stand up for your beliefs, your morals, your ethics, and the law. And you said, I don't want to participate in anything that I know to be illegal.
That was the start. Listen,
But you're standing out against the group.
And I was the only one. I'm almost ashamed to tell you that they asked 14 of us if we wanted to be trained in the enhanced interrogation techniques. I was the only one who said no.
Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that you would have to use them. You were just going to be trained in them.
Oh no, they were to use.
But you would be required to use these techniques.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were not trained in them, then what would happen? Would that preclude you from ever being involved in any sort of a questioning, interrogation?
Yes, which is funny for a couple of reasons. Number one, there was no such thing at the time as an interrogation class, right? The FBI has deep, years-long interrogation classes. We never had to interrogate anybody. And in fact, when we started capturing prisoners in Pakistan in January of 2002, I'm like, well, what do you want me to ask them? I cabled headquarters. We caught this guy. What do you want me to ask him? Oh, you'll figure it out. Just go with it. I'm like, okay. So I was working with the Pakistani intelligence service, and I said, listen, I'm usually the good cop. Do you want to be the bad cop? And he's like, yeah, I'll be the bad cop. So we bring the prisoner out. We're sitting there looking at him. I said, what's your name? He's like, screw you. The Pakistani whacks him across the face. So I say again, what's your name? Listen, buddy, just give me your name. My friend here, he's not in a very good mood. He's not a very nice guy. Just tell me what your name is. Come on. And then they tell you their name.
Standard.
Yeah.
So what exactly, did you know what enhanced interrogation techniques they were going to implement?
Oh, yeah. That day in the cafeteria, my colleague explained it in great detail. And a lot of these techniques are not torture, right? If I grab you by the lapels and say, doggone you, answer my questions, that's not torture. Or the first one was called the belly slap. Or the intention slap was another way they called it, where I smack you in the belly, it makes a cracking sound. Maybe it leaves a handprint. It's a little bit embarrassing. That's not torture. But then it graduated quickly to things like waterboarding, which everybody knows about. But there were techniques that were, in my view, that were worse than waterboarding. Like, for example, there was the cold cell. So they strip you naked. They chain you to an eye bolt in the ceiling, so you can't lay or kneel or sit or anything. You can't get comfortable in any way. And they chill the cell to 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and then every hour somebody comes in and throws a bucket of ice water on you.
Oh.
But we killed people with that technique. The Justice Department never said we could kill people. And when we would
How
kill
many people
them,
died with that?
At least 2 with that technique that
Just
the
from
agency had
hypothermia?
admitted to, from hypothermia.
And there wasn't a protocol in place to stop them from dying?
No. There was later, but in those early days, no. Later, we always had a doctor on scene. Like, for example, with Abu Zubaydah, his heart actually stopped during a waterboarding session, and the doctor revived him just so he could be tortured more. It's like, didn't the Germans do that? Come on now. Now we're doing it? That's not cool.
Is there any other way that, like, I know that MK Ultra experimented with a lot of drugs and a lot of different techniques involved in whether it was trying to find the truth out of people or getting people to commit acts. Did they ever implement something where they would give someone something?
That's a good question. The short answer is yes. Not in the very beginning, but they were working with things like truth serum and different drugs like relaxation drugs, gabapentin, stuff like that to sort of get you to open up. But remember, too, that the agency got in such trouble in 75 and 76 before the Church Committee and the Pike Committee about MKUltra, that as soon as Senator Church said, don't destroy the documents, the director went right back to headquarters and ordered them to destroy everything. And so only about 20% of the MKUltra documents still exist. So we don't really know exactly what it was that was learned in that program, like what worked and what didn't work. We hear these stories about, dosing the fog-laden air of San Francisco just to see if everybody gets sick. We've all read the stories about this bakery in France where apparently we dosed the bread and everybody in the village went nuts. But we don't really have fulsome documentation that we could have used operationally while interrogating prisoners.
So just to avoid prosecution, they figured out a way.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And so then whatever they did learn is lost.
Yeah, it's lost.
If there was something, whether it's MDMA or LSD or whatever they give people.
They worked with LSD for 20 years at least. Yeah. At least 20 years. There was an operation, it was a sub-operation of MKUltra where they rented a safe house in San Francisco. They recruited a bunch of hookers and had them go out and pick up Johns, bring them back to the safe house where they thought they were going to get laid, dose them with LSD, and then interrogate them and try to get them to give up their deepest secrets. It's like, what
Midnight Climax.
Yeah, Midnight Climax, exactly. Yeah. It's like, nobody's agreed to do this. You haven't informed them properly. These are American citizens. You can't just take people off the streets and force LSD down their throats.
Well, they were running the Haight-Ashbury Free Clinic.
Yeah,
until right after, a month after Chaos by Tom O'Neill came out. Yeah.
You're exactly right.
Yeah. Yeah, my
craziness.
My wife's mom went there. She was a hippie in San Francisco.
Wow.
She went to the Haight-Ashbury Free Clinic. It was run by the CIA. Which is so crazy. And it's totally connected to Manson, the Manson family.
Manson. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Manson was a part of it as well.
It's so nuts. And they wouldn't have even known about that until they found a stash of documents that connected it all together.
Mm-hmm. And just think of what's been destroyed.
Right.
What we could have learned.
Exactly. We only know a small fraction of what was done. So is it a case of just they're not elected, they're put into power, presidents come and go, and over the course of their career, 20 years plus, they just have so much power and so much ability to get things done that they just bypass the law?
I